Sherry. I am Darlene with SeniorLivingGuide.com. I am the National Digital Sales Director. I also host our podcast, which is a senior caregiver resource podcast, SeniorLivingGuide.com podcast. A little bit about us. We have multiple opportunities if you are a senior community or home health care or anything that is looking to reach seniors in their times of need. We have a SeniorLivingGuide.com, which is a national reach resource website for housing, home care, all kinds of different things. So go check us out and we can help you connect directly with that person, that senior, that family member, whatever that's looking to find what you offer. So definitely check that out. We also have the podcast, as I mentioned. We have healthcare directories, which are hospital directories in a sense, which are located all over the nation, 42 different markets, if I'm correct on that. There may be more because we're growing every single day, every year. We're really making some waves in that market. And then we also have the educational webinars and a multitude of other things. So definitely check out SeniorLivingGuide.com. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Super happy to answer any questions you might have regarding what we provide to our seniors, their families, and connecting them with folks just like you guys. So with that said, I'm going to introduce Sherry.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sherry Legene with Latitude 714. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the company. We are a print promotional company that helps businesses get noticed and stand out and help them tell their story so that they can strengthen brand loyalty and keep that story strong and proud. I just want to be here as a resource for you. I've been in business for myself for many years, off and on, but I have a connection to senior living. I worked for Florida Senior Living for a number of years as their director of education. I started Engage Magazine, facilitating those articles and talking to our vendors. So pretty comfortable talking about senior living, and it's close to my heart. So this was a good match. When I talked to Darlene back at FALA earlier this summer, we thought it would be fun to do a brand loyalty webinar to help you guys.
Yeah, because it's so out of the box. But that's what I like about it. When you and I were talking and some different things, and I thought, you know what, this is such an out of the box idea. And it's something that you can really utilize like on a small scale or a big scale, or you can make something that's fun in your community. I mean, I think there's just so many
Mhm.
different ways that you can utilize some of these really fun ideas that you and I chatted about.
Thank you. So today we're going to talk about something that's absolutely essential in business. I think so, but it's often misunderstood, and that's your brand loyalty and why it matters, and how creating that meaningful experience or experiences inside your community can strengthen relationships with your residents, their families, and your employees. When we talk about brand loyalty, we're not just talking about selling a product. We're talking about building belonging. Because when people feel connected to your community, they stay longer, they refer others, and they become your best advocates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to just jump right into it with a quick mindset. So what is a brand? What do you think of when you think of a brand, Darlene?
I think people, when they think of a brand, they think it has to be a grand scale brand like Target or Disney World or Nike. But everyone has a very specific brand that they think of when they think of their community, their home care, whatever the case may be. It's got something that they take and they put towards that as far as the reflection of what they want to be perceived in the community.
Absolutely. I think here's an example.
There
You
you go.
mentioned Nike. Yeah, Nike is a really well-known brand, we say, but that's just a logo. It's not their brand. It's just how we recognize them. And then a lot of people are consumed with the color palette, but the color palette also is not your brand. It's just another way to recognize you. And then everyone thinks of their brand as their website, but a website is really just a way to convey, to communicate, share information. It's not your brand. A lot of people think their building is their brand, but it's not. It may say a lot about you, but it's not your brand. A brand is how you make people feel. It's the
Absolutely.
experience that you create, it's the promise that you keep for your residents, their families, your employees, and even your neighbors. It's the story that you tell. It's what makes you different and the culture that you project. Think about Disney for a moment. They don't sell tickets to a park, they sell magic.
Mhm.
Nike doesn't sell just shoes, they sell confidence. You see that, just do it. I can do it. They sell, I can do it. And in senior living, you're not just selling housing, you're selling so much more than that. You sell belonging, peace of mind, and purpose. That's your brand. And that's what loyalty is built on. So, why does brand loyalty matter? Once people feel that sense of belonging, something really powerful happens. They stop being customers and they start becoming advocates. I think that's golden
Yeah.
for your community. It means increased revenue and stability. Loyal residents and families, they're going to stay longer and they're going to refer others. It means reduced marketing costs. You spend less chasing leads because your people do the talking for you. Higher lifetime value. Families who trust your brand continue to choose you and recommend you. And stronger competitive edge. Loyal customers are less likely to switch communities, and there's greater engagement. And you have built-in advocacy. Happy residents and staff become your best marketers. And now for your residents and families and employees, when you establish that brand loyalty, you build trust and emotional connection with your residents, families, and employees. They're more forgiving when small mistakes happen. And let's face it, they're going to happen.
Mhm.
And they stay resilient through transitions or tough seasons. And that's the magic right there.
Yeah. And I mean, you say tough seasons, and I always think back to COVID. I mean, to
COVID.
me, that was probably the toughest season that senior living has ever had to face, the biggest challenge, and
Yeah.
whenever I can remember for sure. And those that really held true to some of those things that you just reviewed, really were able to weather through COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, next, I want to talk about how you build the brand loyalty. And the truth is, it doesn't happen by accident. There's actually a framework behind every unforgettable brand, and it starts with 6 key pillars, and each one plays a role. Let's see, we've got feeling, experience, promise, story, differentiation, and culture. Each one does play a role, and when they all work together, that's when your brand really connects and keeps people coming back. So let's start with the first and most powerful, feeling. It's the foundation of every strong brand. It's not just what people see, it's what they feel when they interact with you. So think for a moment. There's questions to ask yourself. Do my residents feel seen and heard, or simply cared for? When a new resident arrives, what emotional tone does their first day set? Is it homecoming or is it just check in? What emotions linger when someone walks through your hallways? Is it warmth, pride, comfort, or is it indifference? When families visit, do they feel at ease or reassured, or are they anxious and uncertain? Would your staff say that they feel part of a mission or part of a machine? There's a big difference there.
Mm,
Every, every brand,
yeah.
every community, every relationship begins with emotion. And people may come for the service, but they stay because of how you make them feel. And there is real power in that feeling of welcome and first impressions. For this, I think onboarding gifts really matter. A new hire welcome kit or a resident move in gift isn't just a gesture, it's the heart of your culture in tangible form. It says, you matter here. It creates an emotional bridge between your brand and the person experiencing it for the first time. It might be a really nice, warm, cozy blanket that has the logo on it. It might be a picture frame in the residence room that says you belong here. Just the variety of ways you can welcome your residents. And then for the new employees too, a welcome onboarding gift. really means a lot. It builds pride and motivation and connection before that first team meeting starts. So
Yeah.
for residents, it turns a move-in day into the beginning of a meaningful relationship and a sense of comfort and care and belonging that feels like home.
Yeah. When my dad moved into assisted living, he had dementia, so he wasn't completely on board with it. He kind of fought it a little bit because he wasn't really unsure. He was very unsure of kind of what was going on. But they brought him a very small, like little welcome gift. And that's something that resonated with me as his daughter, and made me feel really good. And it's something I definitely remember and appreciated about that community.
That's awesome. Every brand, every community, every relationship begins with that emotion. And people may come for the services, but they stay because of how you make them feel. I think I already talk about that? I think I did. Yeah. The next one. So when we talk about creating that feeling of welcome, it's not just theory. Even the world's top brands do this. They design every detail of that first impression to spark emotion and belonging. Take Google, for example. Their onboarding experience is legendary. I don't know if you've ever seen the videos, but people unboxing there, and this is a lot of them work remote. So it's kind of harder to connect with a remote employee base.
Yeah.
But from the moment new employees open that first box of branded gifts, they're not just joining a company, they're joining a culture. It's thoughtful, it's intentional, and it makes people feel like they're part of something so much bigger with meaning and purpose. And that's exactly the kind of emotion that you can create in senior living for both your employees and your residents. Have you ever experienced that, Darlene? Those kind of gifts?
Oh, absolutely. And it's so funny that you have Google on here because I worked for a company that worked very closely with Google at one point, and Google would come to market, and I actually have a Google mug. I've had it for a long time. I don't want to part with it because it's not something that is readily available,
Right.
because it is their trademarked mug, and I don't know why. It's just one of those mugs that I've just held on to, but I'm pretty proud
Well,
of
obviously, it's
that mug.
special.
Yes,
Yeah, it meant something to you.
it did. It did.
So the next one, that feeling of connection is powerful, but it doesn't stand alone. Once someone feels something about your brand, the next question is, what kind of experience are you creating to reinforce it? Because a brand isn't just how you make people feel. A brand is the experience that you create. Every interaction, every hallway conversation, every welcome gift or meal, it all adds up. And those first impressions, they linger. They become the stories that people tell about your community, whether it's a resident sharing with their family or an employee telling a friend what it's like to work there. That's the power of experience. It's how you turn a feeling into a memory that lasts. And like this one, my first Disney experience. That's 7-year-old me with my brothers. And for me, it was one of the most unforgettable experiences of my life, right here. My
Yeah.
first trip. It was pure magic. Disney is the master of creating magical experiences. They engineer every detail, every sound, every scent, every smile. And it definitely left an impression on me that never went away.
Mhm.
Have you experienced the same thing? I'm not a Disney fanatic, but I do love Disney. So,
So I grew up with Disney because it was right around the corner from my house. We didn't go that much when I was growing up because it was clearly something that was still a special treat. But I do remember my Disney experience was with my great grandmother, my Nana, who died at 103 years old. And she was like, she had the biggest heart of gold. You just would never even imagine. And my biggest Disney memory is I was with her. It was just her and I. I don't know where the other family had taken off to, but Winnie the Pooh just approached us and started like messing around, kind of fooling around with us. Now, mind you, I'm probably like 9, 10 years old. And it was old school Disney where you didn't stand in line to see the characters. If you ran into them, you felt like your day was made. And that memory that's my favorite Disney memory because it
yeah.
was so random and it was with her and she just giggled and giggled. So yeah.
Oh, that's a wonderful story.
Yeah.
So, it was such an influence on me. Fast forward about 25 years, I had three little girls of my own who loved all things Disney princess and tea parties. So I took that magical feeling and built it into my own business, Cookies and Tea for Me. I sold happiness and celebration with every event. My customers even came up with the tagline, the girliest party in town. I didn't come up with that. They just kept saying it and it stuck. So I adopted it. Just like that moment when I first saw Disney World, the surprise, the excitement, the wonder, I got to recreate that same feeling for my guests on my own level. But watching their faces light up when they walked through the door, it was the power of experience was immeasurable. And it's what people remember, they talk about and return to because it made them feel something unforgettable. And I must have done a pretty good job with it because I built a six-figure business that drew my own fans from about 2 hour radius out of Tallahassee, Florida. Every weekend, I would host anywhere from 6 to 8 parties. And even though I had a process and a plan for every event, my guests always felt special because each event was purposely created for each child. So the point here is think about what kind of experiences your residents, your families, and employees might remember. Or better yet, how do you want them to remember you? Create it, be inspired, be intentional because those moments, they really do matter. I sold this business back in 2019. I miss it dearly because it's part of me. It was like my fifth child. Um, so once you've created those unforgettable experiences, the next pillar is all about trust because even the best experiences only last as long as the promise behind it. A brand is the promise that you keep. Every community has one, a mission, a vision, a statement about what you stand for. But the real question is, does everyone feel it? Do your residents, employees, and families see that promise in action every day? If your community has a mission or promise, make it known, put it on signage, create a promise board in your lobby where you celebrate moments when your team lives it out. And when something goes wrong, because it will, use it as an opportunity to reinforce that trust. Maybe deliver a promise kept card with a small gift or treat to your resident, thanking them for their patience, saying we value you. When your promise becomes something people can see and feel and touch, it stops being words on a wall and it becomes your reputation, your heartbeat, and your brand. And this is me and Tim. Um, every brand has a headline promise, and for Delta is keep climbing. Cute line, great commercials, but it only becomes a brand when real humans keep that promise in real moments. There's been a lot in the news lately about the government shutdown and flights being canceled. And we were really worried about it because we were flying back from Barcelona, a 2 week trip, and really nervous about not being able to get back home. But Delta promised that they were not going to cancel international flights. So we felt secure. On our way home from Europe, that promise really got personal. We were tired, emotional, and ready to be in our own beds. You know, that feeling when you're just ready to get home.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, travel doesn't always go perfectly. Flights shift, connections get tight, things happen, and we had a multitude of things happen. Um, from the it was several things. It was one thing after another over a series of 26 hours getting home for a direct flight, mind you. The light went out and the display had to be repaired. Then our crew ran out of time, so we had to redirect to JFK. We had turbulence. The baggage was taken off the plane and it wasn't supposed to. So then all 260 passengers had to get off the plane, go through customs, recheck our bags, reboard, taking 3 hours just to do that, then being rerouted. It was just crazy. And then the last thing, when we finally got to Atlanta, the captain comes on and says, I'm really sorry. There's one more thing. And we're all out of our seats by this time, ready to get out. And he says, whoever parked this thing miscalculated. And we were about 2 feet from the gate trying to figure out how to get you off this plane. So they had to tow us 2 feet to connect to the gate, but they did it. Delta got us home. I think we left Barcelona at 10:50. Well, we boarded at 10 o'clock. We took off at 1 o'clock. from Barcelona. So we were on the plane for a while. We landed in JFK around 7 p.m. Eastern, and we arrived in Atlanta and off the plane by 1:42 a.m.
Mm,
Eastern. So long day of travel, but
long day.
long story short, Delta got us home, and I was so glad to be home.
They did get you
Um,
home. It's yes,
yeah,
and
yeah, they
travel is always iffy, no matter what airline you fly. But it's what they make of it.
exactly. And,
It's what
they
they make
really
of it.
did.
Yeah,
They were very apologetic and grateful for our patience the whole way through and doing everything they could to accommodate, especially, it could have been worse for us, but I feel for a lot of the other travelers because we didn't have to worry about a connection. We were going direct to Atlanta, but so many other people, it was their connecting flight. So I know their lives were turned upside down.
yeah,
But Delta was doing everything they could to help them
right.
and make it better. But out of that, no, sorry for the long story, but really what I want you to hear is your brand is not your logo, your colors, your tagline. Your brand is that promise that you keep when it would be easier not to. In senior living, that promise might sound like we'll care for your loved one like family. We'll communicate clearly so families never feel in the dark. We'll listen to families, to residents, to each other. And this leads into the next pillar because a brand isn't just what you promise, it's the story you tell through your words, your actions, the experiences that you create every day, and the story that others tell about you.
Mm,
Facts inform, features explain, but stories, those stories change hearts. They build trust, they build belief, and your brand is not the brochure. It's not the website. It's not the logo on the sign outside. Your brand is that collection of stories that people repeat about you when you're not in the room.
yeah,
It lives on beyond you. And in senior living, that story doesn't get written by marketing teams. It gets written in the everyday moments that your people create. The moment a daughter tells her friends, Mom had a rough night and couldn't sleep, I called the community at 2 a.m. and they had already checked on her and were sitting with her. I could sleep tonight because they were there.
mhm,
It's the story of a son saying, They sent me a picture of dad smiling in the garden. I hadn't seen that smile in ages. They gave us a piece of him back.
yeah,
It's the moment a family tells their circle, we feel guilty, but we can't do it all. But they stepped in and they cared for her like she was theirs.
mhm,
Those stories really travel. They shape your reputation. They influence choices more powerfully than any ad you'll ever run.
yeah,
Because story is social proof wrapped in emotion, and it drives decisions, especially decisions as personal as choosing a community for someone you love.
yeah, yeah. When my dad passed away, the biggest story I can tell on that community is they took care of him while he was there and they did a great job. But when he passed away, they hugged me and held me tight and they were crying with me. That's that's the story
Yeah,
that they can share, that they truly cared about my dad, and that was reflected the day of his passing. Um, and that's something that I tell people that they really cared. And to me,
yeah,
that's the biggest amenity you can have.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And it's not just the residents and the families that tell the stories. The employees tell a story too. Your internal culture becomes an external narrative. If employees feel supported, respected, and valued, they become your storytellers. Imagine employees saying, When my husband got sick, I didn't know how I'd manage my shifts. My community rallied around me. They covered for me. They checked in on me. I wasn't just an employee, I was family. That story spreads too. It attracts other incredible caregivers and it makes people want to stay, want to contribute, and want to give their best. I know attracting great employees and retaining them is really hard, but I think um, building that culture is really important with the employees because these stories they do tell, they the, they help your reputation. It's your brand equity. It's the story that people believe. And that leads us to the next pillar, which is differentiation. It's what sets you apart from other communities. In senior living, your true brand is written every day in the small moments of humanity that become the stories families carry with them forever, just like you did, Darlene.
Mhm.
Your story and the stories that others tell about you is what sets you apart. It's what makes people choose you over someone else. I don't know if anyone's ever heard this before, but um, when I was in senior living, I heard this numerous times. When you've seen one senior living community, you've seen one senior living community because they're all different. So I want you to think about what makes your community unique. What's your signature touch? What do people say about you when you're not in the room? Every community offers care and services to some degree, but not every community offers connection, joy, or that one of a kind experience that feels like home. Differentiation is about finding that spark, the thing that makes your brand unforgettable. Highlight it, lean into it, and demonstrate it over and over. When everything you do reinforces your unique qualities, you attract and retain people who connect with that niche and you build culture. And this is the last piece of the puzzle, which holds it all together, culture. Because you can have a great branding, you can have great experiences, and even a great story. But without the right people and culture behind it, none of it lasts. Today, more than 40% of job seekers list culture among their most important factors when considering their next employer. That's huge.
Yeah.
Culture is really the heartbeat of your brand, the living, breathing part that people can feel the moment they walk through your doors. I mean, I don't, have you ever walked through the doors and you can just feel the energy when people, there's negativity or where there's joy? It's so different.
Yeah. 100%.
And I want you to think about
And as a
Chick-fil-A.
customer, it can make you stressed out. That
Oh, yeah,
stress and
absolutely.
the energy can, as a customer or a family member, if you're going to go into the senior living side, it can make you feel uncomfortable and stressed out.
Right, it
It
can.
transfers.
Yes. And I think Chick-fil-A does a really good job at this. I mean, their food is good for sure, but that's not why I think people rave about them. It's the consistency of kindness, the my pleasure, the smiles, the genuine care that feels the same whether you're in Pensacola or Portland or Orlando or New York. That culture is not written on a poster. It's lived out in every interaction.
Yeah.
It's part of their culture.
Yeah. Which is so funny you say the my pleasure part because Chick-fil-A says my pleasure, but if you go to a Ritz-Carlton, they say my pleasure. And that's one of the things that
Mhm.
they say my pleasure, and I think, ooh, you feel it definitely elevates your experience by
Yes,
two
that
words. Two
hospitality.
words.
Yep.
Yes.
Makes you feel a certain way. Absolutely.
100%.
Richard Branson said it best, clients do not come first. I know residents really are important. I don't want to say the residents don't come first, but I do want to make this point. Clients do not come first. Employees come first. If you take care of your employees, they will take care of the clients. I think there's some truth in that.
Yeah.
That's the essence of thriving culture. When your team feels valued and inspired, that energy it spills over to your residents, families, and guests, and vice versa.
Yeah.
If they don't feel it, it's going to spill over too, and not in a good way. You want it to become your signature, the thing that people talk about long after they leave. Culture isn't something that you declare, it's something you demonstrate every day and every action by every person who wears your logo. And this is where it all comes full circle because culture isn't built at a staff meeting, it starts on day one. From that very first moment someone joins your team, they're deciding how they feel about your brand, they feel about your leadership and your community. Remember those onboarding gifts we talked about just a few moments ago, the ones from Google?
Yes.
Those are symbols of belonging, the first heartbeat of your culture in action. And when you hand someone a box that says you matter here, you're not just giving them a tumbler or a t shirt, you're giving them a sense of pride and identity and connection. And that's how culture starts. One person, one gesture, one welcome to the team at a time. And when you lead with heart, intention, and a strong sense of purpose, your employees don't just work for you. They believe in you. And that's when loyalty becomes lasting and your brand becomes unforgettable.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's kind of fun about that is because you can give those different things, but without, I think the inclusion of the logo builds a certain pride
It does,
versus
absolutely.
just a product. So you're getting something. I know that we have for our SeniorLivingGuide.com, we did these coffee warmers that you can plug into your computer or what have you, and it keeps your coffee warm and the logo is inside of it. To me, there's this definite pride that our logo is inside that. I like that coffee warmer better than one you can get off of Amazon. Just because, hey, this is our coffee warmer,
That's
it's got
right.
our logo in it. So there is a definite sense of pride with that coffee warmer.
Absolutely. And every time you look at it and you use it, it reminds you of that
Yeah,
belonging. You're part
yeah,
of something bigger, that you're working towards a mission, a goal.
for sure.
So let's bring it all together. These six pillars are the framework for every unforgettable brand, and they apply just as much to senior living as they do to Disney or Nike or Delta. When you lead with feeling, you create emotional connection. When you design the experience, you deliver consistency of care and delight. When you keep your promise, you build trust. When you tell your story, you inspire. When you celebrate your difference, you stand out. And when you invest in your culture, you strengthen the heartbeat of your people. This is how you don't just manage a brand. You design loyalty that lasts and you create a place that people fall in love with. And that's what loyalty really is. It's love, it's trust and pride in where you belong, just like we talked about.
Yeah.
So every detail from your welcome kit to your staff apparel to your event signage, it tells your story. And when those things align with your mission, you're not just decorating your brand, you're designing the unforgettable. Think about it like this. It's not just a marketing goal. It's a relationship strategy. And I want to really emphasize that word strategy because brand loyalty doesn't happen by accident. It's built by design, it's intentional, it's authentic, it's community. And so, if you take one thing away from today, let it be this: loyalty isn't built by accident, it's built by design. Every mug, every shirt, every welcome kit, every moment is a touch point that says you matter and you belong. And when people feel seen and valued and part of your story, they don't just live there, they love there. And that's the privilege I get to live every day in my business at Latitudes. We help businesses and communities just like yours turn logos into experiences and their missions into moments that people remember and tell others. And that's the conclusion of my presentation.
Yeah,
If
and
you
I
have any
think one thing
questions, let me know.
one thing I want to piggy off before we start taking some Q&A, if someone would like, if anyone has any, please feel free to put it in the chat box. Is that one of the things that I've liked about talking with you, Sherry, is that while you have these specific products, your experience in senior living and all the things really make you such a great fit for this webinar. But you also have ideas on how to take some of these things and implement them in really creative, fun ways. So it's not just here, I have this, I have this, I have this. It's here, these are some things that would be really fun and cool if you need some of that creative push. Some people are really creative that way, and some people aren't. And they really, because they're bogged down with all the heavy lifting within the community. They know they want to do something, but they might like some ideas. Can you help me out with this? So that's one thing that I
Absolutely.
really liked about you is you can really provide those resources beyond anything else.
Absolutely. And feel free to reach out to me if you've got questions and need some to brainstorm or ideas. I love doing that. Whether or not we work together is it's not an issue. I just like helping people. I know I've worked with right now we're working with Big Bend Hospice, an organization, a large one in Tallahassee and the Panhandle area. And we started out just working with them. They wanted a store for the employees to be able to go buy some logo apparel, and it's turned into so much more. And whenever they have special events, we put special things in there, and the employees can go on and get it so they can be part of a bigger event, or they'll do gifts for them. They'll give them promo gifts, promo vouchers, and they can go in and purchase something. So, and they just
Oh,
really love it. And we add
yeah.
things quarterly. that are special. And what's nice too, I think, for them is they're not just wearing a uniform, they can choose their style.
Yeah.
So it might be someone wearing a polo or a quarter zip, or they might have a rain jacket. It lets them choose,
Hmm.
but they're still wearing the brand, the colors, the logo,
Yeah.
and they feel
Yeah.
comfortable.
No,
Yeah.
I think that that's great. And I think, and if you do like a ball cap, just spitballing,
Yep.
you can have a logo. And then if you've got like a really fun, I mean, some communities that are especially the active, independent 55 plus have some really fun active sayings or
Oh, yeah,
taglines, I should say. You can have
absolutely.
that on the back of your ball cap. How fun would that
I'm
be?
thinking pickleball, golf,
Yeah.
swimming. There's so many things.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. I'm not seeing any questions, but I just had to laugh a little bit. I had the comment on the Google hat. Like, would you wear that? That was from Christy Ziegler. And Probably not. I thought that was a little funny because I think but honestly, when you're working for Google, that's something to be really proud of because it's very difficult to get a job at Google, especially on
Yeah.
location in that market. You might wear the whole outfit at once. Who knows? But Yeah, I thought that was
I
that was
think they're
kind of fun.
funny. Yeah, I
As
can't
a
see myself
Google.
wearing it, but I can envision a Google employee sitting at home working and like spinning that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. Oh
they have a
my
different culture
gracious.
too. So,
So fun. Um, well, as I said before, if I don't get any questions, and the idea of a blanket with the logo, Erica mentioned that in her comments, and I agree with that. I think the older I get, the worse I get as far as having the need to be comfortable. I now pick out if it's not cotton, I really don't want to wear it.
mhm.
I have a blanket now when I'm on the couch all the time. I mean,
Same.
before I didn't care. There's something as I get older, I just want to have that like level of comfort.
Yep.
So I love the idea of the blanket with the logo. And even if you get some slippers, like just the fuzzy slippers to slide into,
Yes.
depending on the type of community you want to be, safety
Mhm.
first. But I think that that would be really fun. There's so many different things. I mean, my mind is exploding. I'm sure yours is as well, Sherry, with
And
all.
they can offer this not just to the residents and the employees, but to
Yes.
families, because then
Yeah.
they can be wearing or toting even just a shopper bag when they're
Yeah.
going to the Trader Joe's that might
Yeah.
say, Solera Senior Living, and they would be taking it out in the community. It just kind of reinforces the brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something as simple
Absolutely.
as that.
Hmm. So I do have two questions from Jill and Tanya, the slides and the recorded. Yes, this is recorded, and tomorrow you will get the entire recording and Sherry's contact information, my contact information. So you will get an email with all of that fun stuff tomorrow.
And the
So
QR code is up there also. So if they want to scan that, it takes them directly to the website and they can communicate with me through that,
mhm.
schedule a quick 20-minute one-on-one. We can have a conversation about what they're looking for.
I call that brainstorming.
Yes.
Yes, some fun brainstorming. All
Yep.
right. Well, I think that that's it. Everyone's saying thank you. They enjoyed the presentation, and I want to show my gratitude as well, Sherry. Thank you so much for joining us. I said this would be inspiring and fun, and it was.
Great. I'm glad. Thank you. That's what I hope it to be.
Yeah, it was. It was great. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And we appreciate everyone that joined today. We appreciate that you took some time out of your day to join this webinar. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.